cherry trees out here.
Okay.
There aren't any pretty cherry trees. It's all desert.
Okay. All right. So what was your drink of choice? Do you have a drink of choice for today's relaxing time?
No, just water.
It's a little early still out there, I guess.
Yeah,
Not quite the
I'd
end
like
of the day
to.
here.
It
So
just run
maybe,
my sugars up.
yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to think about putting it later. I don't know. Depends on who joins and for how long. I was thinking maybe doing this every Friday, sort of at the end of the
That'd be
day.
fun.
But
I'd
it's
like
end of
that.
the yeah, it's end of the day on the East Coast, but you guys still have quite a bit of time to possibly work, I suppose, depending on what people are doing out there.
Well, my wife's working from home. Honeywell sent her home to work, and myself, I've been sick, so I'm not able to go back to work. I've
Now,
had six stents and diabetes.
do you have like a home bench where you do hobby type stuff or
Mhm.
engraving or setting or anything?
Yeah, I have a GRS uh, setup and stuff. My wife bought it for me back in October,
Nice.
and
Well, that's good. I mean, it'll give you a lot of good hours of fun.
I'm wanting to get better at it. I did a lot of Christmas gifts and stuff. I pushed in grade for the last 3 years, but I'm not real good at it. But boy, it was night and day getting an impact, type hand piece. That was cool. I really enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah, and then the big the really big change for me when I started, which was over 20 years ago, was when I could reliably sharpen. That opened up a whole new world.
It makes a
So,
huge difference. I've always sharpened everything by hand and stuff, and my dad had a faceting machine, and I converted it over, and now I'm doing sharpening with it, and it's a whole lot better and stuff. I bought another sharpening fixture and stuff. I want to buy one uh, from Steve Lindsay, but I haven't got there yet. Every time I go there, I don't know which one to buy.
well, which fixture do you have? I'm assuming you have one of the GRS fixtures. Which one did you get? Like the dual angle or the?
Yeah, I bought the dual angle. It's
Yep,
nice.
that's my. Well, it's been my pretty much my go-to for the last ever.
Well, it's
But
it's nice. It's really nice when you got on my fastening machine. I can pretty much turn any angle that I want and stuff, so it makes it kind of handy. Where if I want to change something, I can. But primarily, it's just I use the 105 and the 120 and a 90 pretty much for everything.
okay,
I'm
so
experimenting with some others that I've made. Some that are kind of uh, beveled, and that's kind of interesting. Trying to make bevels in leaves so that are kind of
levels.
carved out. Yeah,
Uh,
how we would start at the top of the bottom of the bevel and bevel out my leaf, and then I can. Uh, it just gives it some texture to it, or some sculpture to it.
so so are you making very wide angles then, or are you making like round scoops to take out
Scoops,
material?
yeah, smaller scoops. I haven't made one big enough yet to go there. I don't have a microscope. I really wish I had one,
They
but
they do make things easier.
oh, I can see definitely where it would make a huge difference. I tried one out that GRS had at the Tucson Gym Show, and that's when I bought my wife bought me my system and stuff there, and they gave me a senior discount and everything, and it was nice. But classes are $1,800, and you got to find a place to stay. It's a little on the high side for me.
Yeah, well, it is, but it's like with everything, right? You can learn with a hammer and chisel, or you could learn with pneumatic tools or now electric tools, whatever. Um, but those tools take time off of the learning curve, right? Same
Yeah,
thing with a class. If you take a class from many people are teaching now, there's everything from online to one-on-one to, obviously places that cater to classes all the time. And what it does is it allows you to take time off the learning curve. Oh, I see we have Dave came. Hi, Dave.
all right.
How are you today?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I'm talking with Carl here, who's in Arizona.
So, Carl, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm new at this, but it's good.
So we were just in the middle of a discussion about sharpening, and he has a GRS dual angle fixture. But you mentioned that you were interested in getting a Lindsay, but you weren't sure which geometry. Is that true?
Yeah. Which one do you start with? You guys have so many.
Well, it depends on what it is you want to do. If you have the dual angle fixture, you can make anything. You
Yeah.
just have to know how to make it, right? Um, on the other hand, if you're making the same thing over and over and over again, and you really like um, that template geometry, that can make it pretty quick too. But that's really a personal preference. Like if you already like the 105 and what you have is working for you, then it's working great. So
Yeah, I've got some that I've made that I don't know what they are, but I made them a long time ago when I was push engraving, and I cut my push engravers and made them small enough to go into the uh, collet, the 1/8 inch collet, so I could fit in there and stuff. And I like those; they work real well. I'm discovering the hardness of different types of steel. That's interesting when you go to cut into mild steel or hard steel. It just doesn't have enough oomph sometimes.
what doesn't have enough?
The
Oh,
little hammer, I think I take too deep a cut, so I do a bunch of little cuts.
okay. All right.
Are you using the full scraper?
He's
Yeah,
using the
GRS
GRS
the
system.
901 handpiece is a 901.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you should be able to get a pretty good cut though with a 901. I mean that has quite a bit of power. So I don't know how deep you're going. Digging to China is usually never a good idea with one cut, but but I've had that discussion with many people. So that's a preference thing.
Yeah, I'm not out to cut windrows. I'm just looking to make it scratch.
Okay.
I bought 4 buck knives, the 110s for Christmas, and I did a different scroll work on all 4 bolsters on it, and gave the first one to my wife, and then my son and my son-in-law. But they came out pretty nice. I was really happy. You know, I can see where I've got a lot of learning going.
Well, but that's great that you're doing that, and I'm sure that they love the Christmas presents.
Oh, they did. They really did. I carved one of them with I don't know if you know what a crappie is. It's a fish, and
Okay.
I did one of those, and I did one with a buck on it, a buckhead. Our last name is Buck. My last name is Buck, so I did a buck on the buck knife for my son. Came out pretty good. I was really surprised.
Good. So Dave, what have you been up to?
Keeping busy with everything going on, making sure
Yeah, that
it's clean.
everything's clean. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you guys, you're still open for business out there and working?
Yep, we're open. They just closed our schools a couple days ago, so all that's shut down. And most of our restaurants here in town are still open, but it's kind of limited. It's that and trying to go to the grocery store and seeing how everything's wiped out. Just bizarre.
Yes. Well, it's it's been like that here for, I don't know, probably a good week.
Yeah.
I would say last weekend, Friday into Saturday, we started seeing a lot of that. So, and everything where I am, which is north of Philly right now, has been pretty much shut down, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get on and just talk to people and say hello. And
We're all alive still, the world's not ending yet, that sort of thing.
yeah, well, just relaxing. Figured we could all talk shop, something happy.
Yeah, like what's in the glass there, girl?
Uh, some sort of possible fermented grape substance.
Yeah, it is Friday, so.
I mean, it does say wine time with Tira. So,
and you've talked about this for a while.
I have. I mean, at first I was just going to get on with my friends, which we can do as well. But then I thought there's probably a lot of people out there that are at home this week.
What's going on?
Maybe not so much out near you, but on the East Coast. There's a lot of people that are possibly working from home. I know some of the jewelers in New York are working from home and stuff, but I don't know. We thought we would try, and we're doing a live feed this time to, I think, 2 platforms at once to try that out to see how that goes.
Get all 7 of those laptops working at the same time.
I'm sorry, what was that, Dave?
Get all 7 of those laptops you got going at the same time.
Right. I guess we have a question. Let's see. What's the question?
It's a sharpening question.
Sharpening question.
Somebody wants to know if they can use the Lindsay templates with the GRS home.
Okay. The question is, can you use the Lindsay templates with the GRS hone? And I do. The only limitation, I believe, is that the Lindsay templates have a very particular height that they need to be off of the surface that is abrasive. Most of mine are a 1/2 inch. I have some that are 3/4 of an inch. It says right on the template. But what I do is I have my hone set up, and then I measure, and I have like a little block of wood and then a piece of acrylic, so that when I put the template down on that acrylic and lean it onto the rotating abrasive wheel, it's the same 1/2 inch that it's supposed to be. But I do that all the time. I make, in fact, I had a class for the Pennsylvania Gunsmithing School. And just to keep it easy, I made all of the gravers for the class with the Lindsay templates, because I didn't have hones for everybody, and they could, each person could do their own with that. But I roughed them all out and sharpened them before I went with the hone. So any hone, the NSET hone, the GRS hone, the Tom White hone. As the important part there is the 1/2 inch difference between where the template sits and the surface that is abrasive. Right? Do we have another question?
Well, he was just following up saying you manually adjust the height to make it perfect. But
I do. I have a little see-through ruler, and I get down right to look straight ahead at it with the ruler to make sure that it's as close as I can. And after I figure out whatever those adjustments are, usually I tape those things together. So then I have just one block, and if I'm going to go and use a particular template, I throw that block on my hone, and I don't have to measure it every time. So that's pretty helpful. So. I'm sorry?
Is that mainly what you use to sharpen your gravers for Lindsay templates?
No, I mean, my go-to sharpening for really since the beginning. Well, I had the old GRS, the original GRS. Hold on, I have it here.
Talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Pardon me. Oops. There we go. This was my original sharpening fixture.
Yeah.
You know, which worked okay for flats and for anything that had a square stock. But I was about 3 months into it before I figured out I wanted a wider geometry like a 105. And this really, you can't easily do anything that's not on a 90-degree angle. So then I got the dual angle fixture, which is like this, you know. And this is an old one. I mean, you can see how beat it is. It's been around my shop over 20 years now, but it still works great. And a lot of what I do, you know, I have my own particular geometries and I know how to make stuff. So I like this one. But recently when I went to the gunsmith school, we had only 2 days and we didn't have a whole lot of time to go into all of this explanation. So I got a bunch of the Lindsay, well, I got a couple of Lindsay templates, basically a 90 and a 105, which are the bulk of what I use anyway. And they've been really, I mean, they've been really quick and helpful for sure. You know, when I just went to what show did we were out of the Vegas show, I brought those to the Vegas show because again, at the booth, quick and easy, you don't need a hone. And what about you, Dave? What are you using?
Mainly use dual angle or the Apex sharpen.
Okay. So I think
or do it by hand, whatever. Just depends on what I need. Actually,
what?
Another question about microscopes.
Okay.
For those of us who don't have a trinocular microscope,
yes.
Do you have any experience hooking up some type of cam to your microscope, like on the side mount, that worked out well?
We actually sell it's not a very expensive, it's like a $45 mount that you can put a small, actually like this little guy here, which is, this is a Canon, very small video cam, and it will hang off of an A60. It's not going to be exactly what you're seeing, of course, but it will show you, you know, your hand area and kind of what you're doing. So that's not a very expensive option. And of course, cameras are getting better all the time. So they may have a much smaller one even now. I would say GoPro doesn't really work too well. At least it didn't probably 18 months ago or 2 years we tried. Only because you basically turn it on and it records, not necessarily in a macro view, and then you have to download it and then the battery runs out. So it depends what you're using it for. If you're showing somebody in the shop, if you're teaching, if you have it going out to an HDMI, then something like, you know, and that was a cheap one. It needs autofocus and zoom. Basically, those are the two things that help getting your hands right where you need it and the camera aligned so that you can see the best that you can.
Yeah, I'm just basically wanting to show a little bit of what's going on underneath the scope, not necessarily exactly what I'm seeing, but just in general that you could put up on a screen where someone else could see. You can point something out.
Yep, I know that some other people have had like luck with their phones. Somehow they kind of put them in some sort of a, I don't know, frame like right near their chest, kind of looking at what they're doing.
Yeah. I've tried that, not had any luck going that route. That's why I asked.
Yeah, we did that at shows, this method here, for quite a few years until, and then I had a different Trinoc, but it wasn't nearly as clear as this. And then when this one came out with the camera in it, I was like, oh yeah. But I mean, we're moving around all the time too. So for us, it's really been helpful. So,
Okay.
cool. That didn't help you much, did it?
No, actually it did. I've seen some people using like a Sony Handycam. I'm just curious on what camera someone's used, the side mount that actually worked out for them, and what you needed with the autofocus and the zoom. That makes total sense that you would need that to get that to work out. So that did help.
Right. And of course, now they're making smaller and smaller cameras.
Yeah.
So, and the big issue is when you have this, you know, you have your camera or you have your microscope and then you have a camera set off here and it's looking down, right?
No.
The bigger the house, right? The bigger the housing on the camera itself, it can't get as close, right? But if it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, you can probably get it in closer to what it is you want to see. So I haven't actually looked at what's new in those types of cameras for, again, probably 18 months to 2 years. So who knows by now. So, all righty.
What are you working on right now?
Trying to keep shipping going, because I mean, you know, everything's pretty much closed down out here, but we're still shipping, we're still getting orders, and we can do all of that. But it's been really busy because we've had quite a few clients figure out that they were going to also go into lockdown. So yesterday was a very busy day for us, and we were shipping quite a bit. And so I'm hoping actually to start. I got a piece of steel, and one of the things I want to do, let's see, is my logo. And I'd like to do my logo with 24 karat inlay and some diamonds and stuff, you know, and only make it maybe this big, right? A very small, but do a real nice job on it. So if we're in the lockdown here for a long time, I'm thinking maybe that's what I'll start.
Yeah, the next project, because it's going to be some time coming up here, I can tell. So
yeah. And the other thing I did today. Oh, do we have somebody else who wants to talk?
We've got a bunch of people who are joining.
Okay.
I'm trying to watch. We've got 3 different chat things. I'm trying to monitor
okay.
separately.
Well, Dave, the other big thing I did today, of course, my husband was, as I'm doing it, he's like, we got to go live, right? And I'm, I don't know, about 40 minutes before, I had like grease everywhere because I took my regular vise here, which is the low profile vise, and I modified it so it had the jaws move back and forth.
You get it out of the center so you can slide it back and forth.
I did, but I decided to do that like in a bad time because he's like, you've got to get cleaned up. We've got to go on. I'm like, and I got grease everywhere. I got the hacksaw out. I'm filing it, but it works really nice. I can move it quite well now. So I'm really excited. You know, we've got it to move pretty well.
I'll cut over for that view.
Oh, there. Huh?
Cool.
So now if I open it up, I can move the jaws to get the rotation right. So anyway, I've been wanting to do that for quite a while, and I haven't been able to just find the time. But today I did.
What did you actually have to use a hacksaw to cut on?
Well, there's that. You have the 2 jaws,
right?
And then you have the threaded bar between them, right? Okay. And then where the threaded bar is, if this is the threaded bar, you kind of have like a little U thing that goes up and the little bar sits in. Okay. So I hacksawed off the U part and then I filed it down so that the bar can shift. It's not staying in the center.
Okay. I've got I think it's like a Victor vise about that same size. And that whole pin, you actually twist it, it'll pull straight out. You don't have to even cut it off. I don't have
Right.
the ERS version. I didn't know it didn't come out.
Well, I actually thought that the GRS one might be a two-part assembly there, but
Yeah.
I got on their website, which was actually very helpful because it had the schematics on it.
Yeah.
And I pulled off the schematics for this vise, and it looked like a one-piece assembly.
Okay. Okay.
And honestly, for me, it's 20, however many years old, and I just wanted to try it. So and I didn't hurt it, but I hacksawed that off and then I filed it down, greased it. It needed to be cleaned anyway. Cleaned it all up, greased it all up. I'm so excited.
Works pretty slick. It's pretty neat.
It does, so
It's pretty fast. And it's surprising how much when you tighten it up, how it locks the jaws down from sliding back and forth. I was really surprised. So.
Right. And I have a bunch of other vices, including their big one. And I don't know, I'm going to see how this one goes. And then if it continues to be really good, I may start modifying my other vices.
All of them up.
I go get all my hacksaws and my files, and at least I had a lot of files. So I have a lot of that. So no problem with that.
Got a question?
I don't know. Is there? My husband is watching all three. I guess there's three different chats going, right? Like Facebook, YouTube, and then regular, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Facebook, YouTube.
So
And the people who are actually calling in,
yeah. So this is the first time we've been trying. Well, when I interviewed you, we went with YouTube, and then I did another interview a couple days ago with Scott Pilkington.
Yes, I saw that. Good job. I saw that. It was nice.
Thanks. You're going to really like on Tuesday, we're just starting to advertise it. Tuesday at 10 a.m., we're going to interview David Holloway.
Okay.
So that'll be really cool because he's been doing that concierge jeweler thing for a while.
Yeah.
And he's given us a whole bunch of pictures so we can
Cool.
talk with him, and we're going to do that on I think it's Facebook and YouTube and everything at the same time. So kind of excited about that one.
Deal.
Yep.
I'd like to watch that.
Hi, and who is this? Is that Carl with the K?
I keep forgetting you guys can hear me.
Oh, okay, there we
Yeah,
go. Okay, I have to use these now. I got my first pair of these, so for the fine print, I have to keep putting them on.
Yeah.
Yay!
I like your work. I really do. I've seen a lot of it, or what I've seen of it on the YouTube and so forth.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So what did you learn in the gun class that you took?
In the gun class recently?
Yeah.
Oh, we were actually Brian Powley, who is a master, Fago master guns guy, engraver, and I both taught the class at the gunsmith school. So we were giving an sort of an intro 2-day overview of what engraving is and can be. And then Brian is going to become the professor teacher at the gunsmith school with now probably everything is going to have to go back a couple of weeks because of the school is on lockdown. They can't have classes, so everything is going to shift. But So we were actually teaching out there, not taking a class.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't mean that you were a student. I'm a student.
Oh no, I am very much still a student. I learn all the time from people, that's one of the reasons I picked engraving. I probably will learn up until my last breath and still have not learned everything. Well, definitely will not have learned everything. And I think that's the coolest part.
I wish I'd have done this 35, 40 years ago and stuff. That's how old my vice is. I used to make jewelry when when I went to college and stuff. I'm 63 right now. When I went to college and stuff, I made a lot of silver and turquoise and gold jewelry and stuff, and carried that over the years and stuff. But I never really got into engraving. I'd push here and there, but it was always, I have more wounds on my left hand than my right. You definitely learn to keep it. You definitely learn to keep it below the rim of the vise. I have a three jaw, or not a three jaw. It's from a machinist, whereas you can
A
adjust.
chuck, like a chuck.
Well, not necessarily a chuck. It's more like a vise and stuff. I stuck my ball vise on top of it, basically, and I can do what you're doing with yours by turning a little handle on the side. It rotates it one way and the other, but I also have one that goes the other way, so I can go 90 degrees or 180 degrees, so I can keep it in the center. I don't know if it was just my idea of cheap way to do it. I don't
Yeah,
know if
well,
it works.
if it works for you, that's
It does.
cool.
I find that a lot of times I turn my vise at an angle and not straight up and down flat. I prefer it flat. It's easier to cut. But sometimes the way my vise is and stuff, it's easier if especially when I'm trying to do some lettering or something, so I can cut along that. I'm still learning that. Do you have a video on that?
On lettering?
Yeah.
No, I do not, but I should probably make one.
Well, I would definitely watch it.
Okay, well, I mean, my guess is that I'm going to be doing a lot more video over the next however many weeks. And the truth is that, I mean, this is a terrible situation, obviously, and everyone is being sort of isolated from each other. But way before that, Rob and I have been spending a lot of time getting equipment together, lighting, studio, mics, all sorts of stuff anyway, because we were going to do more of it. So we're.
Does your husband engrave also?
My husband does not engrave. I think only one engraver in the house is enough nuts for anybody. He's smiling. He's smiling. He's like, oh yeah. And my kids would definitely say that.
Your kids do it at all? Your kids don't do it?
I taught them both, and they both can engrave. They both don't have time to engrave, which is fine because they went to college and they're adults now living on their own. But they're starting to come around to maybe it wasn't such a bad thing that I learned. And my daughter, she can't wait to get. She wants to get one of these pulse gravers because she lives in an apartment and it has not been practical for her to have a compressor and noise. So as soon as I can get one to her, I will. But we have kind of the production in the list, and there's people waiting still and stuff. So she's got to wait.
So they're pretty quiet then. They're real quiet.
You've got a bunch of people joining from Facebook now.
Okay.
And we've got a couple of questions coming through. One is complimenting your vice modification and wanting to know if you plan to do a video about how to make that work.
Oh, I probably should have done a video while I was doing it. I have another one. I can do my big boy. We can do a video on that.
And
Okay.
And then the other question is what people are asking whether you still do work on Martin guitars.
Ah, that's a good question. I occasionally do work with Martin. I haven't for a while. Although I saw them somewhat recently, November, and they have floated an idea of possibly another set of somewhere between 30 and 50 of them. So we have not locked any of that down for sure, but you never know. So that's going to be big to do that, but that'll be good. So, and the vice modification, that's a great idea. I can do a video on that. And Carl, yes, getting back to you, it's very quiet. See, it's not on right now, right? I'm going to turn it on. You can hear how loud it is. Are you ready? Are you there, Carl?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so
Quiet.
here's the in the morning. This is what I do and how loud it is. Oh, it beeped. That's it.
So
it
so
just sits
while
there.
you're using it and stuff, the noise comes from you cutting through the metal, and that's it.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I was using it on the metal, it would, and you'll hear like it's hitting the back of the collet here as I step on it. But there's no other noise. There's no air. There's no motor. There's no whirring. There's no. It just.
I like it like that.
Which is good. But for my daughter, that's going to be a big deal because she's sharing an apartment, can't have noise and all, but it'll be good. And I think she'll get back into it. She did coins for a while. So we'll see. So any other questions? Or people just like they're lurking, but they're not commenting and don't want to participate.
Mr. DeCamillis is asking whether or not that is wine that he sees.
It may be a fermented grape substance. Yes. Tell him to get on. Chris, get on and join. Dave Hillman. I don't know if he's still on or if he left.
Dave had to take off for a minute.
Okay, and then there's Carl. He's on with me from Arizona. That's okay if people are shy. All right. Oh, it sounds like somebody's coming. No?
I gotta go. Nice talking to you. Good to see you again, Tira.
Is that Dave? All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Dave.
See you later. Nice talking to you.
Yep. All right. Well, Carl, do you have any other questions, thoughts?
I have so many. I'm afraid you don't have enough time for all of them.
Well, I mean, go ahead and ask. I mean, either I might not know it or I might not be set up to be able to explain it right now, but you could certainly ask.
I don't know what to say.
Okay.
I never thought I was going to be talking to you. This is
all right. Well, that's
you're
fine.
kind of a celebrity to me. You're a celebrity.
Okay, hold on. I got another question. What?
You might have to repeat this. I don't know if they can hear me. But John Novak is asking whether the pulse graver uses different weights like the NSAT.
Okay. So we have a question from John, and he is asking whether the pulse graver use different weights inside of it like the NSAT does. Correct? I got that right? And the answer is there is a weight in the handpiece, but you don't change the weights. You change the power, and you also change the stroke length. So by changing the power when you step on the pedal, you can program it to be from very, very light to quite heavy with the hitting in the power. And then you can change this. I can move this all the way in and have very light hits. I guess I can actually show you here. Okay, so here, if I step on the pedal here, It's clamped down completely. So I have my foot on the pedal, but this is in so that it's not even making sounds. And then I can bring it out and I can have it purr lightly, or it can go heavier and heavier.
It's losing the sound on the algorithm.
Oh, okay. Oh, because I have to talk while it's doing it. Otherwise, the software tries to take the sound out. So we have a heavy stroke here, and then if I turn it in, it goes to a very light stroke, and then it'll even stop. So you have power that way, and you have power through the foot pedal, but you don't have the different weights. It's not like you unscrew it and put in a different weight. The handpiece, just the way it is, can sort of do the whole range there. So hopefully that answered your question. Actually, I have to go and see John at some point because he's not all that far away from us. But I am sorry I have never gotten over there, John. One of these days I'm going to. And you can come and visit me too, because you're not that far away. So.
You ever make it out to Arizona?
I'm going to go down here a little bit because my head's cut off. There we go.
I moved the camera.
Okay, you move the camera up and I'll put my chair back up. Do you like that? It's a little bit of fun and craziness on Friday afternoon. There we go. All right. Do I ever go out to Arizona? I am not usually out in Arizona. We have talked about possibly getting a van and touring the US, but we have not gotten to that point. So I think I've been out there for the Tucson show once. And then I've been out to the Rio Grande facility, which is in New Mexico. But I'm not out in that part of the country very much. But how far are you from Vegas?
4.5 hours.
Okay.
So it's not that far. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But I wanted to go to the knife show they had there not long ago and stuff. And then the one that was in LA. There's not a lot of stuff on this side of the country for people to even get to touch an engraver. You know,
well, at the
I waited 2 years to do it at Tucson.
Okay, well, every year, this year was kind of off just because of the timing, but the Firearm Engravers Guild has a show, which was only a couple weeks ago. I think next year it's about the 15th of January, mid-January to the end there somewhere. So you can get to that from FEGA, FEGA.com is their site. But they always have, I mean, GRS comes and we come and set up tools. So there's always tools for people that are on the West Coast if they can get to Vegas during that weekend, it's not an expensive show to get into. And at least 2 tool companies come with everything, to try, which is a good thing. So it's a good way to get there. And then the big jewelry show, which unfortunately has just been canceled, it's called the JCK, is in Vegas. And I'm more often than not there. This year, obviously, it's canceled. So, but that's another thing that I tend to be out there for.
Well, hopefully we won't have that problem this year.
Also, yeah, but there's another question about whether or not you intend to make palm control pulse graver.
Palm control. Okay. Well, right now, we don't have any palm control in the works, but we are looking into many, many things. So I can't say that we will or we won't in the future, but excuse me, my allergies are getting the best of me. So it's by foot pedal right now, and it's a pretty good size foot pedal. Pretty good size foot pedal. So, but right now, no palm control, but I don't know. I actually have, I have probably pretty much all the machines, many of them. I don't have the Euro machine. I don't have that one. But I used to use palm control for quite a few years when I did a lot of shows with GRS. And then I went back to the foot control because for me, it worked out better. I like the foot control, but that's a very highly personal preference for all sorts of people. And there's good reasons that some people have to use it. So we'll look into it, but we've got a lot of irons in the fire now. So any other?
What microscope are you using back?
You might want to just talk about David Holloway again.
Okay. Okay, Carl, this microscope here.
Yeah.
That way. Actually, I can go this way and get completely out of the way. There we go. This is the Leica S9, which it's got a big camera on it up here. And it's really quite overkill for just a bench scope. It zooms up to 55. And if you were a diamond grader or gemologist, you might need that high magnification. And with 16 XI pieces, it goes up to 80 something. But for the most part, I use it here because, well, you can't really see, but I have it hooked to a monitor up there. Rob, you want to show? So, I mean, I have it hooked up to a monitor and stuff because of the streaming here. And then if I wanted to show something, which I'm not going to do today, but sometimes when I have clients on, I'm doing stuff underneath the microscope and then they can see it live. And that way, this scope allows you to do that. But most of the bench scopes and I used for a long time, is the A60. So the A60 works really well for general all-around diamond setting, engraving. There are plenty of other scopes that work as well, but they work, they also work, I don't know, I guess it's a personal preference on whether or not they work as well, but that's a kind of a play on words. But
Well, I've been looking at the A60. I've been looking at it. That's my next thing to buy.
Okay, well, you'll probably find that when you can see better, your work takes another jump as well. I know that because it was quite a while. I didn't have a microscope. I had an optivisor, but I was doing motorcycle parts, so there was nothing very tiny about that. And then I got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then I needed a scope at one point, so kind of made the jump. And I also was getting older.
I'm finding that on coins, I want a scope. It's pretty tough to get down there and see exactly what you're doing. I use an optivisor also, and I got to get awful close to be able to see what I'm doing.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well,
Chris is trying to join.
Oh, Chris is trying to join. Well, that would be good. Get on here, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Yeah, I don't know. I clicked everything it said to click, but.
Do you have your camera?
Yeah.
Turned off or on? Chris is trying to join. I can hear him, but I can't see him.
I'm looking at him on this view, and it's a blank screen, so I can see he's there, but.
Okay, so we can see you're there, but we cannot see your happy face in the snowstorm yet.
Okay, so what has to happen?
I don't know. Maybe you have share your camera, or your camera's not plugged in, or all we're seeing is a black screen, as you can see.
Right, yeah, I see that. And then when I talk, I see the green outline. So I don't know why it's not picking it up.
I don't know. Rob doesn't have it. We're not doing that on this end, though.
Yeah, we're not blocking.
So we're not blocking you, which, sometimes we do, but not this time.
No, that's fine. I mean, I can talk at least. One thing I was thinking about, Tira, was there was a person that asked about the single hit.
Not today, but
No, not today. Not today. This was a little while ago, and they use it for bezels and stuff. And I started thinking about it. In the burst mode, which is where you can set that single hit. You can also set it, as you probably have, know and have played with. You can hit it so that it happens so rapidly, like 2 or 3 or 4 or however many hits you want in a row. It's almost like it's one hit, and that
right,
might,
actually,
yeah,
yeah, and actually, when I was at the when I was with Gabriel last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I showed him that. I showed them that in the burst mode, if you absolutely have to just have a single hit, absolutely, you could put it in the burst mode,
Right. But
as opposed to riding the pedal. But yeah, and the it's set up here for it's set up for I have 30 three pulses in a row here, so it sounds just like one.
yeah,
even though it's 3.
Yep. And that'll give you more. That would be akin to having
Yeah.
more power in a single hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
I think there was a question by Magnus. It came up. Did you see that, Rob?
just now, is it in the Rob? Is there a question by Magnus? From Magnus, I can't see any of the chats, and Rob is trying to watch all 3 of them at the same time.
Well, I
and
don't
we're
see
trying to talk, and I'm trying to talk.
Let me see.
I'm getting. Please bear with me. I'm trying to get used to it all.
When I was just watching, I could see him, but now I can't. Now I just see the screen with us on it. So.
Looking.
Okay, and I only see me talking. So Rob must have switched the screens from one view into both because you don't have your picture up there. So get your picture up, Chris. You must have many cameras. I know you do.
Oh yeah, it's plugged in and it's lit up. I don't know why it's not. I'm gonna double check here and see.
Okay. All right. Well, while he's doing that,
I'm checking to see if I can find things in other groups where we posted this was happening.
Okay. Well, if you've just joined us or have joined us and you didn't hear before, 10 o'clock on Tuesday, I'm going to be interviewing David Holloway, who is from Arkansas, and he calls himself a concierge jeweler. And that should be a lot of fun because he does some really stellar work. And he's given us pictures, so we'll be able to put up, like close-up pictures and see his work and hear about what he's doing. I guess he would be ahead of the curve with all of the shelter in place that is going to be coming our way. So that's a good thing, I guess. And that'll be 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, God willing. So, any other questions, answers?
If Chris sees a question from somebody, I don't.
Yeah, Chris, we don't see a question. Maybe it's in a comment or something as opposed to a chat somewhere.
Well, it came in when I was typing my question in about the wine and all that. It came up then, and I could see the questions by John Novak too. So.
Okay, Chris says it was when he was typing the questions about the wine and near where John Novak was. I don't know. I can't see it. Rob's looking for it.
Here, let me refresh. Maybe it just didn't refresh right.
So he's trying to work his magic there, but he's got a lot of he's got a lot of screens to watch. I think we're up to, is it 7 or 8 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screens. So he's got a lot to watch.
Yeah, and I checked my camera. It's plugged in, and for sure.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't know why it's not coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, he found it. So what is the question?
Can one set different strokes per minute?
Can one set?
So on the NSAT, just go through the pulse graver. So just how does the pulse graver work?
Okay, so the question was, can you set different strokes per minute? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. When you're working with the box, you can pick anything from 1 per second all the way up to 60 per second. Although 40 is a really good working per second. So for example, if I go here and I'm in the speed mode, let me move the foot pedal here. Okay. What happens is I put in 40 up to the maximum of 40 strokes per second, which would be the equivalent of 2,400 strokes. Okay. So if I put my foot all the way down and I just running it straight out, I'm going 2,400 strokes per minute. But in speed mode, I'm controlling the speed with the foot pedal. So if I want to just go very slowly like this and, kind of creep up on a stone or slowly be hitting a bezel or coming to an end of a cut, I can do that. And then if I'm on a straightaway, I can go faster up to the highest part that I want. And all of that is adjustable. So I can make the max speed be much less or more. And in this case, I'm controlling it on a second by second basis with the foot pedal. Now, separately from that, if you go into the power mode, which I'll put over here, now the foot pedal is going to control the power, but I can type in exactly what speed I like. So I don't know what speed you like to work at. Let's see, let's say it was, well, here again, it's 2,400, but I can change that. I'm going to make it 1,800. Okay, so now I made it 30 hits per second, which would be effectively 1,800 as the maximum speed. And in power mode now, it's going to be going 1,800, but it's going to go from very light hits to more powerful hits. So, but okay, I guess I have to talk while I'm showing this, because otherwise our software actually tries to drop out repetitive background noise. Go figure. So hopefully that answers your question. But yes, it's very, very programmable, but you don't have to spend a lot of time programming it. There's 8 different presets that come with it, and you can go just up or down a little bit from that. And when you finally get the setting you love, you can save it and just go back to it pretty easily, which is great. And it really, you can really modify it to work the way you want it to work, regardless of whether you want to use power on the foot pedal or speed on the foot pedal. And you can go back and forth just real quick. So hopefully that answered your question. Any follow on or not? We don't have a follow on.
I don't think so. I mean, I think we're about there.
Okay.
I think you answered the question.
Yeah. Yep. I was hoping that Joachim would be on, but I don't know if
he was on. He was watching. I mean.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. Well, I didn't know if he was going to join us via video, but next time.
Yeah, tell him to put his video on, see if we can see him. I want to see his cat anyway.
Well, I don't know. He may not be in the office. He may be watching because it's what is it? almost 5 here, so it's got to be 11, almost 11 p.m. there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if we have no more questions, thanks for joining me. I hope at least it was a little bit of fun. I probably will do this again next Friday at 4 or 5. We'll let you know. Just to have, well, yeah, Tuesday is the big interview with David Holloway. But on next Friday, just for fun, I'll answer questions and have some fermented grape juice in a. Where's my fermented grape juice over here? And who knows? Maybe by then I will have hacked up my next vice. I will have defaced it. But I'm really excited. It's working real well now. So, I mean, it worked good before, but now it moves. So, something new and exciting. So.
Yeah, the picture and everything and the sound's great. So, other than mine won't come up. I just hit the stop video and start again, and I don't, so we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm sure it's user error on my part, but we'll figure
now,
it out.
Did you join, Chris? Did you join most from like the YouTube side or the Facebook side, or I guess you just tried to call right in to the link?
Yeah, well, no, I went in from well, first I went to Facebook, then I went to YouTube, and I don't remember which one I finally joined on, but and then Rob there was a link in the messages, and I clicked the link, but it said I had to be invited in by you, and then I don't know, finally everything happened, but why the video won't come up, I don't know.
Okay, well, we can work on that.
Yeah.
Not like we don't talk to each other all the time.
Right. Yeah.
In this snowstorm, right? So, all right. Well, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's tira.mitchell or Pulsegraver. That's for the new tool. Engraver.com website. Engraver.com Facebook page too. So if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe on my YouTube is what? Tira Mitchell YouTube. So if you like it, subscribe, and then you'll get notifications. We're probably going to be doing more of this spur of the moment stuff because we can. And thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you, Carl.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.